Right now, the Kenya Wildlife Service, together with stakeholders in the tourism sector, are on a mission to eliminate over 1 million house crows in the coast region. The invasive birds have been categorized as a menace, troubling the hospitality as well as becoming a pest to other bird species in the region. The technical committee, led by KWS, met in June, agreed to use the stallicide poison to kill the crows by December this year. NTV's Kevin Mutai also reports that the decision to cull the birds is aimed at prohibiting their migration outside the coast region.
The Indian house crow, which invaded Kenya from Zanzibar in 1947, have since multiplied their population and are continuously breeding in the coast region, but dominantly in Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale and Lamu counties.
Right now it is estimated that we have about 2 million crows within this ecosystem, meaning the number of crows we have is actually equivalent to the population of Mombasa, if not more. Now the crows are very invasive and birds which disturb in many ways. They are noisy. They release their wastage sometimes on people.
In March this year, NTV brought you the story of devastation that these birds cause, and now the process of culling the crows has kicked off after the Kenya Wildlife Service officials met with veterinarians specialized in house crow control and stakeholders in the tourism industry. In the meeting held on June 7, 2024, the KWS Director for Wildlife and Community Service, Charles Musyoki, said the crow eradication program was of high public interest, while affirming the government's commitment in killing 1 million birds by December 2024.
It is not possible to just eliminate them in one go. So there will be a process of conditioning them to be through the process of pre-baiting, so that then they are used to feeding at that particular time. And then in one go, they'll be poisoned across the entire region. In
Kilifi, for instance, there's a team mapping out their feeding and nesting zones. This means that the pre-baiting will be done in their feeding areas, after which their carcasses will be collected from the nesting areas after dying from the poison. According to some of the experts involved, meat will be used as bait for a period of 1 week before lacing the meat with stallicide poison to be imported from the United States. The company, identified as Little Kenya Gardens, is the sole entity certified by Pest Control Poisons Board and issued with a permit to import the poison.
They'll have to be conditioned to feed at a particular place at a particular time. And that will continue until when the poisoning will actually be done. And so they will not be able to know the difference between the poison and the bait that has actually been used to, the meat that was actually used to feed them during that time. Also, this will happen in different places. You know, they are very territorial, and therefore effort will be put to identify the different zones where they are. So this is actually ongoing now in Kilifi, where the team is ready and just waiting an okay and acquisition of the poison, so that the dumping sites and places where ordinarily will find a lot of the crows, we're going to use those sites as the baiting places.
However, the cost of the exercise remains a problem, with stakeholders estimating that it will cost more than 10 million shillings to acquire the poison and other resources needed.
Getting rid of crows cannot be left to individual hotels. It cannot be left to individual units or individual partners. I repeat, this is something which should be taken very seriously by the Ministry of Tourism. It is something which should be taken very seriously by the gubernatorial government. They should all be involved in this exercise.
These avian birds have caused mayhem in the region, becoming a menace, especially in the tourism and hospitality industry. The proprietors in the hotel sector, including small eateries in the region, have also complained of their customers being harassed by the birds.
Wanakuwa wengi wakati tuseme wa mchana, ama saa zingine pengine kama saa 4, saa hiyo wanajua mnatayarisha samaki, nyama, matumbo, wanakuwa ndio wengi. Hasa usipokuwa mwangalifu ndo ana kipande cha nyama, hasara ni kwako. Umenunua tuseme nyama ya 500, haya kunguru akiondoka tuseme na piece kama 3. Unajua umeachwa wewe peke yako, sasa hujui utafanya nini.
It is very difficult for us to be investing and improving on the products, wanting them to become 5-star, yet we cannot be able to take care of a simple menace like the crows. To me, the crows is like garbage. The same way the county government takes responsibility to get rid of garbage is the same way the government, both the national one and the regional one, should be thinking about elimination of crows. It's an emergency, it's a disaster, and that is how it should be treated.
Crows are also known to kill indigenous animal species in the region, including small birds, creating an imbalance in the ecosystem.
They are aliens to this particular region. Okay, so they invaded this particular region. They have been neglected for quite some time, and now it's becoming a time bomb, not only to the hospitality industry, even to the aviation industry. As a matter of fact, being birds, they are carriers of dangerous avian diseases. If you are doing farming in the coast region today, and don't be surprised when you keep losing your flocks, even if you vaccinate them, because these birds are carriers of many avian diseases. And a lot of avian diseases go by wind. So if you have wind blowing in a particular direction, you find that you can't keep your good stocks of chicken or other birds, because then they die susceptible to this particular exposure to these particular viruses.
Zingine wanachafua vyombo, wanakuja wanakunya hizo vyombo, customer akiona hivyo anaona kama mimi ni mchafu, anaondoka. Zingine wanakunyata hicho chakula, usipofunika vizuri utapata pia hata ni aibu. Sasa mimi kwa upande wangu mimi waelimitiwe kama wanaweza kuelimitiwa.
In most of the hotels now, we are trying to do our own baiting, we are trying to do our own reduction of their presence. Sometimes we even employ security people with a catapult, trying to chase them away. The most uncomfortable time in a hotel now is between noon and about 3 o'clock, when we are either giving people lunch or in the afternoon at 3:30 when we are doing the tea service. Because then they are hovering everywhere, just making everybody very uncomfortable.
The stallicide poison has been deemed safe for use by scientists and researchers who have expressed confidence in its effectiveness. They assure the public that there are no risks to human life or other animal species that might consume the deceased crows. To prevent unintended contact with non-targeted animal species and environment, the carcasses will be carefully gathered and interred in mass graves.
Culling of the crows is expected to reduce their population by approximately 50%, hence reducing pressure on the fragile coastal ecosystem. According to researchers, poisoning is the most effective way as they target to eliminate 1 million birds. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Mombasa.